Kawasaki.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel for a very honestly unexpected video. I didn't think I was going to be doing this for a while, but here we are, and we're just going to run with it. So where we are right now and what you're currently kind of looking at is the new 00 scale layout. This very large random piece of wood behind me is the lock, and it didn't really have to be replaced, but I kind of wanted to for safety. You know, we'll talk more about that in a minute. It wasn't something I was expecting to have to do. Again, this is all very probably random for you guys. It's random feeling for me. I didn't think I was building a new layout at all, but this one at least will be better, you know, so there's pros to it. Let's start with the inevitable question. Why do we even need a new layout? I mean, what was wrong with the lock? Again, it was kind of my fault. When you build a layout or anything like this and you have pets, you need to build it with the pets in mind. You know, make sure they won't get hurt on it. The structures themselves can withstand the pets standing on them if they ever choose to. Stuff like that. Well, at the time of building the lock, I only had Roxy. She's a very much older cat. She doesn't weigh a lot and could stand on the top of the mountain, and I never really had to worry about, you know, the structural stability, her falling through it. It was normally pretty safe. Well, as I'm sure most of you guys know now, we also have Rico, who is the second coming of Butters and also weighs much more than the frail old Roxy. You see, when Roxy got on top of the mountain, she could lay there, stand there, do whatever. It wasn't really a problem. He did, and I guess did a little bit more continually, and it started to weigh down that plaster. He ended up going paw first through the top of it, and it freaked him out a lot. He kind of just ended up scurrying a little. It was scary for him and for me too, because I did not expect that to happen. And I don't want, you know, him to hurt his arm or his paw or anything like that. So, you know, for the safety of him and for my sleep, we're just going to go ahead and get rid of that and build something not only better than that, but safer too. Something Rico may have a little bit more trouble messing up. At the very least, he'll be helping out though. You gotta train your conductors right. Now, the second question I assume some of you guys may have is, what exactly is this wood? What are we building on? What is the new layout going to be present on? I ran out of words there, I'm sure you could tell. Well, hopefully it'll be a lot better than that and a lot more sturdy. The old layout, or the lock, was built on two different pieces of plywood that were screwed in kind of at the middle, both about an inch thick. Wasn't the most even thing, wasn't the most sturdy. What we're looking at here and going to work on now is actually a plywood door, or a project door. It's basically one that is not finished, not painted, doesn't have any designs on it, but it's got that sturdiness, it's thick, it's built exactly like a door, and also hollow, just like my head. So if you ever need to transport it, it shouldn't be too hard. Now, I do worry a little bit that'll make getting these wires through it a little more complicated, but it's a small price to pay, especially when you think about how expensive wood is getting. I mean, you could get a single piece of plywood for $60, or this whole basically, it's an unfinished door, but it's a finished piece of layout, let's be honest, for $75. And for 36 by 80 inches and fitting a whole compact loop of mainline track, that's really not that bad. And I guess that kind of gives away a part of what I hope this will be. This will, with any luck, be a mainline stretch, or somewhere I can run much longer trains and don't really have to worry about the speed. I do have the same sharp radiuses, but they are consistent on either side. We have these long stretches on either side. All we need to do now is actually get the layout working. So we've got the track laid out, we've got the signals in place and the terminal location figured out. I've even went ahead and started the station, as you can see here, but I haven't actually gotten the layout functional. We need to drill into the wood, run the wires, and then we can actually run trains. And that is the plan for today. And this big fucker is going to help us get the engines going. So, enough monologue. Let's just get to work. I want to play with trains. All right, so the plan is basically we're going to take this Sharpie here. We're going to mark off where the terminal pieces are. I do eventually plan to come back in here, do some more drilling, and we're going to, you know, install lighting on the station, stuff like that, but we don't have the lighting components yet, so we'll keep it simple and just get these signals and the track itself powered, and let's go ahead and get on that. And with these areas marked off, now the only thing we have left to do is pick up all of this random stuff, get the station out of here, any engines on the table now off of it, and start the drilling process and see if we can get this thing powered up. And with this all now cleared off, we let the drilling commence. We have power, looks like it works. Alright, went through no problem. Tried to make this one a little larger since it's got to fit the terminal piece of track here, but that area should be good to go once we vacuum that dust up. Oh man, I got a vacuum, god damn it. Now, I'm thinking the signal ones don't have to be much bigger since those wires are quite a bit smaller, but man, that took a lot more effort than the terminal piece. That stunk. My hand hurts. Now, the back signal does scare me a bit. There is another table under this holding it up, and I'm going to need to either pull that forward and then drill, or maybe just flip this around before I go for that one. We'll see. One or the other. That was way too much effort. That was not worth it. That was not worth any of that. Probably not gonna lie. Now we've got everything wired up. The terminal piece is connected to a controller. The signals are shining bright green. I guess the only thing to do now is put everything back. So let's get the station and trains and all that. Yeah, you know what we're doing. 1 second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and that should complete that. Not only do we have these signals now wired up on both sides, but the track is connected to the controller. We should be good to test out our first train. Now, before we do that, I'm sure you've noticed some things on the layout. For example, this station. This is the Hornby Country Station, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't regret using it, but there's better out there if you were wondering. Not only is most of this detail all stickers that you put on yourself, but these little platforms and putting these fences on them is the most difficult thing in the world, especially if you wanted the curve station like I did. A way to get around that is the base part, which actually applies the fence to the platform, put little cuts in it, and that should actually allow them to curve with the platform. But I mean, 1 to 10, it's probably like a 6. It's not the worst. I understand why this is sticker detailing. It's so you can decide on a couple different stations. I chose this one, so I mean, that's a cool idea at the very least, but it does feel a little cheap. The plan though is to detail this and again, light it, put people on it, just make it look way better than it is. So this is not the end of this station. It's just, maybe would have went with another brand if I would have known that before buying. Now, over here in the yard area with Thomas, you may have noticed these, the rocket coaches, the third class rocket coaches. And I'm not gonna lie, maybe a bit of a spoiler or a hint for what the layout will be, but I'm hoping there will be some, what's the word? Enthusiast trains. There will be some enthusiast trains pulled in this area, and I figured what better or more fun coaches, and according to my fiance, what more aesthetically pleasing coaches than these very bright blue, open, almost truck-like coaches, which we sadly won't see in this video running, but we will see very shortly in its own separate unboxing and review. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. That should follow not too far after this, and we can finally see them do something. With any luck, I'll also find some figures to actually put in the coaches so we can, you know, detail them a little bit and make a proper enthusiast train. But yeah, there's that. Just on the chance you saw it, I figured I'd explain it. And now let's test our first train. I'm excited. Can you let's do this. Let's freaking do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Thomas here at the station. We've got George hooked up to a flatbed. I think the only thing left to do is give him some power and see how this all goes. All right, we've got some. He's making it to the signal. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for a running session. Let's get into it.
Either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out.